The June 2025 defense industry memorandum between Finland and Turkey has quietly become one of NATO's most intriguing industrial alignments in recent years. On paper, it is simply a cooperation agreement, but in reality, it connects two very different corners of the alliance: the high-tech precision of Nordic engineering and the large-scale manufacturing capacity of Anatolia. The centerpiece of this cooperation revolves around two Finnish systems, the Patria 6x6 armored vehicle and the NEMO 120mm mortar turret, which together form the backbone of Finland's modern land warfare doctrine. These platforms may soon roll out of Turkish factories, symbolizing a new north-south industrial chain inside NATO. Finland has long built its defense industry on pragmatism. Isolated during the Cold War and facing a 1,300-kilometer border with Russia, it invested in domestic self-reliance rather than power projection. Patria, the country's flagship defense manufacturer, embodies this philosophy: robust designs that survive in snow, mud, and forest. The Patria 6x6 was created as part of the Common Armored Vehicle System, a joint program with Latvia and Sweden that emphasizes modularity and affordability. Weighing around 24 tons, it carries 12 soldiers, reaches 100 kilometers per hour on road, and can swim through rivers while protecting its crew against 30mm fire. The vehicle's real advantage, however, is its plug-and-play structure that allows integration of different weapon turrets, including the NEMO mortar. Turkey, meanwhile, represents almost the opposite industrial model. For 2 decades, Ankara has prioritized mass production and export reach. Its companies, Otokar, BMC, and FNSS, produce a wide range of armored vehicles, while Baykar has become synonymous with affordable unmanned aerial power. Yet despite impressive scale, Turkey still depends on Western partners for key subsystems: armor composites, fire control software, and automatic mortar technology. The Finnish partnership offers what Ankara lacks: advanced engineering and access to European standard defense certifications. In return, Finland gains access to large-scale production lines that its limited population and small domestic market cannot sustain. The Patria 6x6 fits Turkey's current modernization needs almost perfectly. Ankara has deployed thousands of heavy 8-wheeled PARS vehicles along its borders, but those are expensive and over-engineered for secondary theaters such as the Balkans or the Eastern Mediterranean. A lighter, cheaper 6-wheeled platform, built under license in Turkey, would fill the gap for internal security forces, peacekeeping contingents, and export clients in Africa or the Middle East. With local assembly, Turkish cost advantages could make the platform competitive against Russian BTR derivatives or Chinese VN series vehicles. If the project proceeds, Finland would likely provide the design package and core components, while Turkish plants handle hull fabrication, assembly, and quality control. The second pillar of the cooperation, the NEMO 120mm turret, represents a technological leap that Turkey has long sought. Traditional Turkish mortar systems rely on manually loaded tubes mounted on open trucks or towed carriages. NEMO, by contrast, is a fully automated breech-loading turret capable of firing 10 rounds per minute and performing multiple-round simultaneous impact missions. Mounted on the Patria 6x6, it delivers indirect fire with the accuracy and speed of self-propelled artillery, but at half the weight and cost. For Turkey, whose army often operates in mountainous or urban environments where conventional howitzers are limited, this system would offer rapid reaction firepower in mobile form. Moreover, integrating NEMO with Turkish fire control software and drones could create a highly responsive sensor-to-shooter chain, something Ankara has pursued since its Syria operations. The industrial logic behind the partnership is clear. Finland brings design, testing, and NATO-standard certification. Turkey brings volume manufacturing, logistics, and access to third-party markets. Together, they can field systems that neither could efficiently produce alone. The cost of building a Patria 6x6 in Finland currently exceeds €2 million per unit. Local assembly in Turkey could cut that figure substantially, enabling NATO partners with tighter budgets to acquire modern armored vehicles without depending entirely on American or German suppliers. This arrangement also spreads production risk. Finnish engineers handle the sensitive components such as weapon stations and armor modules, while Turkish subcontractors focus on chassis, powertrain, and electronics integration. Yet the partnership is not without political and technological tension. Finland maintains one of the European Union's strictest export control regimes, especially concerning technology that could be re-exported to countries outside NATO. Turkey, in contrast, runs one of the world's most active arms export networks, selling to partners as varied as Qatar, Libya, and Pakistan. For the cooperation to function, Helsinki must trust that sensitive components will remain within approved destinations, a trust complicated by Ankara's independent foreign policy. European observers have already warned that transferring turret automation or composite armor data to Turkish firms could risk reverse engineering and leakage to non-aligned buyers. Both sides therefore describe the 2025 memorandum as a framework for joint development, avoiding commitments that could violate European export law. At the same time, the deal carries symbolic weight inside NATO. After months of political friction over Finland's accession, Ankara's signature on a defense memorandum represents reconciliation through industrial pragmatism. It allows both governments to demonstrate alliance solidarity while gaining tangible benefits at home: jobs in Turkey's defense sector and technology contracts for Finnish firms. NATO officials quietly view such bilateral initiatives as building blocks for a more resilient alliance supply chain. Rather than every member buying weapons from the United States, countries like Finland and Turkey can specialize and trade among themselves, creating redundancy and flexibility. In a broader geopolitical sense, the Helsinki-Ankara partnership also serves as a message to Moscow and Beijing. Russia's war in Ukraine has pushed European states to rebuild their defense industries, while China has promoted its own cross-border military collaborations through Pakistan and Iran. The image of a Nordic and a Mediterranean nation combining design and production mirrors, in Western form, what Beijing has done with its partners in Asia. Finnish officials themselves have acknowledged that China is watching, and the success or failure of intra-NATO industrial cooperation will shape how other powers assess Western resilience. Technologically, the most promising long-term outcome may be the fusion of Finnish C4ISR and Turkish robotics expertise. Finland's telecommunications sector, led by Nokia and Bitium, offers secure battlefield networks and digital radios already tested by NATO. Turkey's defense companies have rapidly developed unmanned systems, from aerial drones to ground robots. Integrating these strengths could lead to networked armored units where every Patria 6x6 communicates with UAVs, artillery, and command centers in real time. A modern combined arms ecosystem that leverages both nations' comparative advantages. Still, the political risks remain. If Turkey diverges from European Union norms or expands arms sales to controversial clients, pressure could mount on Helsinki to suspend cooperation, repeating the pattern of 2019 when Finland imposed an export embargo after Turkish operations in Syria. Conversely, domestic critics in Ankara may view reliance on Nordic technology as a constraint on sovereignty. Balancing these perceptions will require careful management and transparent oversight mechanisms within NATO's framework. For now, however, the Finnish design, Turkish production model looks like a pragmatic win-win. It gives Finland a foothold in global arms manufacturing and strengthens Turkey's claim to be a full-fledged defense producer rather than merely an assembler. More importantly, it points to a new reality inside NATO. Industrial geography matters as much as military doctrine. The ability to connect cold forests with hot deserts through shared engineering could define the alliance's next generation of weapons production. From the snowfields of Helsinki to the assembly lines of Ankara, the Patria 6x6 and NEMO turret may soon become the first tangible symbols of that transformation. A partnership born of necessity, but destined to reshape the industrial map of Europe's defense future.